Getting your utilities squared away is usually the very last thing on your mind during a big move, right? But honestly, it's absolutely the most crucial. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're navigating the surprisingly complex process of setting up your water in the Tampa metropolitan area and how getting this right means the difference between a totally seamless transition and an absolute logistical nightmare.
I mean, just picture this. You've been hauling heavy boxes all day in the sweltering Florida heat. You're exhausted, you're sweating, and you go to turn on the faucet for a nice cold glass of water, and literally nothing happens. You discover your toilets won't flush, your shower won't run, all because you fell into a super common, highly preventable bureaucratic trap. That peace of mind you wanted? Completely gone. But don't worry, we're going to make sure that does not happen to you. To give you that absolute peace of mind, this playbook is going to quickly walk you through finding your specific water utility, tackling the application process, handling fees, deposits, and waivers, managing payments and challenges, and finally navigating some unique Tampa water rules. All right, let's jump right into part 1, finding your water utility. So the biggest mistake people make actually happens before they even apply. You see, your postal address might literally say Tampa, Florida, but that is often a geographic illusion. Your actual water provider is determined strictly by municipal boundary lines, not the post office. Because postal addresses cross into unincorporated county territories all the time, applying to the city of Tampa just because your mail says Tampa will likely result in misdirected paperwork and some seriously frustrating delays. The region essentially breaks down into 4 main territories: the city of Tampa, unincorporated Hillsborough County, Temple Terrace, and Pasco County. Because these borders are so incredibly complex, you absolutely must use an online address lookup mapping tool provided by the city or county to verify your exact provider before you do anything else. Otherwise, you might end up in one of those crazy dual utility scenarios where the city handles your water but the county handles your wastewater. Always check them out first. Okay, moving right along to part 2, the application process. Once you know exactly who serves your home, it's time to tackle the application itself. Setting up an account is generally pretty straightforward, but you really need to understand the timeline here. The crucial takeaway is that both the city of Tampa and Hillsborough County require you to initiate this process at least 5 business days before your move-in date. Think about it. If you apply on a Friday for a move-in on a Monday, you are going to be without water. You can start the process digitally through the Tampa Connect or HillsGov Hub portals, or by phone, but definitely get that clock started early to ensure uninterrupted supply. Now, if you are building a brand new home, upgrading a service line, or maybe converting from a well to city water, a simple phone call just isn't going to cut it. You're going to need to submit specialized engineering forms. This actually requires physical plot maps, sewer lateral placement forms, and even plumbing schematics so the utility engineers can officially approve your new physical connection. And if you're just moving into an existing home within the city of Tampa, here is a fantastic sneaky insider tip for their online portal. When you're registering for online access with your new account number, you have to type your name exactly as it appears on the physical bill. The catch? Their system uses a highly strict format. You must list your last name first, followed by a comma, and then your first name. If you input Mary Jones instead of Jones, Mary, the system will straight up reject your registration and you'll be locked out. Let's dive into part 3. Everyone's favorite subject: fees, deposits, and waivers. So let's talk about keeping more money in your pocket. If you're establishing a brand new single-family connection in the city of Tampa, meaning they literally have to install a brand new physical meter on the property, brace yourself because $760 is your minimum upfront capital cost. That covers your $50 application fee, a $45 meter security deposit, and a standard $665 installation charge. For existing homes, though, the upfront cash looks a bit different. In Hillsborough County, for instance, you should expect a non-refundable $25 setup fee to pop up on your very first invoice. And on top of that, they mandate security deposits, which vary depending on your service, but you can generally expect a dedicated wastewater deposit of $165 just to get the account activated. But wait, here is the really good news. You can actually bypass these hefty cash deposits completely. Hillsborough County offers a super convenient automated soft credit check during account creation. If your score meets their threshold, boom, the deposit is waived. The city of Tampa does things a little differently. They let you submit a physical letter of good credit history from your previous utility provider. It just needs to prove 12 months of active history with 0 disconnections or bounced checks, and of course, the names must perfectly match. And let's see how this builds into long-term savings, because both departments offer some great structured hardship programs.
Qualifying low-income households in Tampa can actually get their monthly base facility charges waived entirely through the Customer Assistance Program. Seniors over 65 are eligible for dedicated solid waste discounts, and Hillsborough County offers an affordability assistance discount that credits up to $5 monthly on water and wastewater-based charges. It definitely pays to ask about these programs.
All right, on to part 4, managing payments and challenges. Even with your account open and running perfectly, challenges can pop up. First off, the absolute easiest way to avoid past due issues is to immediately set up automatic payments through your provider's portal. But if you do face a disconnection for a past due balance, simply logging on and paying won't instantly turn your water back on. Actually, you must proactively call the utility center and provide them with your confirmation number. Only then will they trigger a service restoration. And honestly, that can still take up to 24 hours. On the flip side, when you eventually move out of town, here is a massive pitfall to avoid. Never ever rely on the new tenant or the new buyer to take over the utility account. The utility companies explicitly warn against doing this. You absolutely must actively submit a stop service request online or by phone. If you don't, your name just stays on the account and you will be held legally liable for the next occupant's water usage. Closing it out is completely on you.
And finally, Part 5, Unique Tampa Water Rules. Let's explore some highly localized rules and weather quirks you really need to memorize. For example, Tampa often operates under regional water shortage mandates managed by the local water district. Under an extreme shortage, lawn irrigation is heavily restricted to just one designated day per week, and never during peak daylight hours. And here is a fascinating legal protection. During these active shortages, your homeowners association is legally barred from forcing you to wash your home's exterior or replace dead lawns for purely cosmetic reasons. The water mandate actually overrides HOA aesthetic rules. You should also be fully aware that water is not a flat rate here. Both the city and the county use tiered consumption rates. This basically means the more you use, the significantly higher your cost per gallon becomes. It financially penalizes heavy water users. Furthermore, Tampa occasionally adds temporary pass-through surcharges to your bill when regional supply deficits force them to go out and purchase emergency supplemental water from the regional wholesaler. Now here is a totally unique operational quirk you should know about. If a water main breaks or the local water quality is temporarily compromised, unlike other cities that might just post a quick tweet or a Facebook update, Tampa water crews will physically hand-deliver precautionary boil water notices directly to your front door, and they'll hand-deliver the all-clear notice too. So definitely keep an eye on your porch if you see crews working in your neighborhood. Just a quick reality check before we finish up. It's incredibly important to remember that municipal procedures, rates, and even those tricky boundary lines are subject to change over time. The rules that apply today might look a little different next year. So to ensure a seamless setup experience, always verify the most current details, fees, and requirements directly with your local utility provider's website or customer service center. Well, armed with this explainer, you are now perfectly equipped to bypass the bureaucracy, avoid those jurisdictional traps, and keep the water flowing at your new Florida home. You know exactly how to waive those deposits, automate your payments, and navigate the local rules. So I guess the only question left to ask is, which insider discount are you going to apply for first? Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.